Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM Lions. This is episode 44. As we continue on with our early season journey, we're now overlapping two races with the Tour of Algarve. So we're in Portugal for this one. It is a 2-star objective, the objective to win a stage. At this point in the season, I have had a positive race day condition by a couple of points once to my memory out of about a dozen stages that we have done so far on the year. 1 out of 12. We have had worse than a -1 across the board, meaning a -7 or worse net, in more than half of the races, including today, with -9, I want to say it was. Yes, a -9. It's been rough. It's been really rough. Added on top of that, and I know that I've had a lot of really, really poor draws. I don't know if they changed. A couple years ago, I had thought we had bad race day condition after bad race day condition, and then I went in, took calculations. I wrote down what we had on a daily basis for a period of time, for a few weeks, for a good 20 stages or so, and found that we were almost neutral, and that it was like, okay, you forget the ones where it's good and you remember the ones where it's bad, and that's how life works, right? You can get 1,000 good comments on YouTube, positive, supportive comments, and you get one negative. Which one do you remember? You remember the negative one. You remember the harsh one. And that's why the age of people trolling is just so harsh on individual mental capacity to fight through the world of social media these days. No matter what it is you do in life, whether you're a young student or, of a different era. 35k to go here, by the way. To my knowledge, to my recollection, which again, maybe it's recency bias, I know that we're looking at least at numerous stages in a row where we have had worse than a -1 average draw per rider on a daily basis. Added on top of that, as we're down to just 50 riders here entering this final phase, final 32Ks, Benny Messias is about to get dropped. He'll be the first rider getting dropped, and we'll need to use Mahire to replace the protection of Bitsimana and our leaders for the day, as there's going to be a lot of climbing and just a couple more times of a little respite, little break, but otherwise this is going to be pretty intense for the last 30 kilometers of this stage. It's a tough one. Blinking red at 79 is already inadequate. Let's speed up a little bit, but I don't want to push it too hard. I will allow us to drift somewhat right now, but this is a heavy push. Nope, no, oh, no. Wow, that was a big no. I was already at an 82, go to roll up, and it drops 10 points instantly when we are fading towards the back end of the group. We can no longer try to conserve here, as the peloton is rather small, and we risk getting dropped. In fact, there is the back. Mohira is already on the verge. Benny Messias has been dropped and is in the next group back down the road. So Mohira is going to have to replace now. Okay, protection. Okay, Jansen's the one we need to watch out for the most. We've already upped this, but we still seem to be blinking red even in low 90s here. That's 3 riders off the front. Banuna? Really? Banuna? You were on protection duty and you got dropped anyway. He couldn't handle the pace. It was Burhi that he was supposed to be following. Why don't you follow Trex or not follow Trex or not? What's going on? Can't follow a rider? Oh, great. Now it's just happened to these two as we get a little split from Björg and Van Hooydonk. Wow, that's quality riders going backwards right there. Continue to protect. And we're down to 3 guys hanging on to the back end of a shrinking peloton. that first climb was not expected to be that difficult. We tried to respond, realizing we were going backwards. I was initially going, it's okay to drift some, quickly realizing that you couldn't afford to drift anymore. And there's that position recovering. But somebody's going to have to be sacrificed, and Jansen's the obvious candidate to protect Burhi. Meanwhile, Bitsimana is finding his way forward a little bit easier. Burhi not great on mountains, but he's got the medium mountain, so with that medium mountain rating, he should be able to recover much better, much faster now. And then we'll back off a little bit here, as this is still far from the end on this one, and the level of push we have going on is not conducive to our needs right now. Okay, we got 3 guys together here. Let's do something with this 22k before it's too late and they're completely ruled out. Johannes Dalek is looking the weakest. These guys are all on those negative race day conditions, so what do we even have? Mohira kind of looking the strongest, just based on race day condition and energy remaining. And see if we can ditch the group. We don't want to be dragging them all forward again. We can't spend long back here hanging out. Okay, that's it on the red bar. Johannes Dalek now just pushing on. There we go. Split off 20 riders. Oop. How are we doing? We're okay up here. Still okay up here. 30 riders. No riders left off the front. Johannes Dalek is now tired, but not descending. They'll turn right here in a moment. Let's go ahead and switch it, see if you can hang with, and Benuna will push on before we actually see a split here. That little lift in tempo allowed some other riders to get on, but Johannes Dalek might get a small amount of recovery during this phase, and we are getting maybe just a little bit from these guys. Jansen, Gel, Benuna, Gel. Final 2 climbs. Very little break the rest of the way. Johannes Dalek has recovered slightly. Let's go ahead and give some protection to Mohira, as Johannes Dalek can at least ride in between for a moment. And for a moment, that was the moment. Mohira, sit on with this group. Benuna, protect him. Protect him. There you go. And see you later, Johannes Dalek. Group of 14. We did split off and leave others behind, as this is continually changing, and here comes the next attack. 3 riders on the go. We really don't have the strength to necessarily follow that. We'll have to hope that others can bury themselves to keep us in range, keep us in contact. The GC could be a factor, something we look at here. And we are down, well, almost down to 2. Jansen's still in contact, but just 3 seconds for Haig de Plus. Last little hill along the way. Last little downhill. Jansen has been dropped. Ooh, well, here is this far back. Wow. That is some separation right there. Let's put these guys all on auto. Let them get to the finish on their end. 9K to go. We do not have the strength to win this. That's pretty clear to me. Burhi is, after all, only a 71 mountain, so that's problematic for him. Locking him in on maybe a 90. Hey, what happened to Protect? You were on Protect. Front 4 guys already split off. We're going to have to stay with these 12. We don't have the strength to go with them. Trying really hard to hold with Burhi, but that's it. They're done. That's it for us. For us today. We're with Almeida. 82, 81, 81 Almeida. He's been dropped with us. That's how strong this field is. There's Zaug. We're looking at, well, Alaphilippe is there still, but Soler, De Plus, Haig, not even in the front of the field. Madaway. Pogacar is here too. Fortunato, good luck to us winning a stage, huh? Pidcock is at the front of the field with 2K to go. We are already 3 minutes behind Tom Pidcock. Final kilometer for him. He's pulled to 1.5 minutes ahead. He's got this thing in the bag. First place for him. Behind him, Pogacar now pulls clear of Fortunato. He'll take second. Fortunato might hang on for third. Here comes a hard-charging Jack Haig, who cannot crack the top 3. And we will have a top 20, but that's it. For this race, GC is now out of the question. 6.5 minutes down for Bitsimana and Burhi. Even with a better race day condition, how much ground can they make? Cracking the top 10 is going to be quite difficult. There are 2 more effective stages that we could have gone for. I will only go for them if I think I have a chance at winning the stage based on the profile. I'll have to look at the profile to make that decision, to make that call. But with these bad draws, with no one having a race day condition bonus, that was the other thing that I was trying to get to, that normally I notice that we get a bad draw. But normally I excuse it because it's like, well, we've got a team full of guys that are supposed to have +2s, +5s, +3s. A couple of them get those +5s. And so they were expected to have a +5, but if they drew a +2, we didn't see it. If they drew a +3, we didn't see it. Because you can't go above the +5, even though technically they could have rolled that dice and had above it. So when we end up on a -4 and they could have had a +2 or +3, it's like, that's not too bad. That's okay. And so throughout this year, Pro Cycling Manager 23 cycle, I have not been too harsh on race day condition as I had been in the past. A couple of years ago, I was really, really peeved about it. And that's when I ran the test and it kind of was like, oh, calm down. DG, calm down. Like, that's enough, man. Let it go. And I had let it go, finally. This season only, not the whole cycle, but this season, it's really noticeable so far. Now, I think what's different about it being noticeable this season and the previous seasons is that the races we were doing, we had the objectives, we had the fitness peaks, we had the +3s and +5s for everyone, and the small negatives that we were taking in on a regular basis and the occasional positive was enough to make it all seem okay. But so far this season, we've gone into multiple races with no bonuses, so zeros expected, so absolutely nothing in our way from having anything other than neutral, nothing standing in our way. Or we've had small positives, +1s, +2s across the board, so a +14 net expected. And then one rider gets a +5. Well, already it took a +3 for that draw, and the biggest is a +5. So there's really only a maximum of 2 points at stake otherwise. And seeing -9s, -14s, -5s consistently this season. Like I said, I think memory, which could be wrong because of that bias that I was mentioning earlier, memory suggests that we've only had a single positive race day condition net-wise this entire season so far. And we are averaging worse than a -1 per rider across the board, which is a lot worse than normal. I'm having my issues with it at the moment. I will not linger on it too long here. I'm ready to move on and just accept that this game, when on extreme difficulty, hits you in more than one way. And just accept that that's what it is, because I'm often seeing it mentioned in the comments that they do believe that what shows up on your expected race day condition versus the outcome, we really average a -1 across the board. So is there something in the coding automatically ticks us off to a -1? Because that would be pretty damn close to what the average is. I still wonder about that one. It would be really nice if Cyanide would be a little more forthcoming in what goes into the game. I do have contacts at the studio as I get my key every year from them, and have been a little more involved. They've put my videos up on the Steam page, so I have had contact with them. It's minimal though, but I have tried to pose some questions in there, and I get responses. Other times I don't get responses then, so they are very tight-lipped on what goes into the game. I almost had a really good laugh at the irony of shooting myself in the foot, mentioning the race day condition, and then having it blow up the very next stage with a positive outcome. Looked a little closer, did the math. We have a net 0 today. It's not a positive, but it's the best draw we've had in some time. But it is still just a net 0, so it's still not a positive race day condition, and certainly not in any insurmountable way to offset the huge negatives that we've had in recent stages. That being said, I have a different profile of rider at this race. Reason being, the Tour de Var, 2-star stage win requirement from the sponsor. The Tour de Var is punchy, but not like crazy punchy. In fact, we're just trying to get over this climb right now, and we need to be doing so at a much higher tempo, please. Thank you. Once we get over the top of this, it's a sprint finish from there. Stages 2 and 3 are more punchy than today was, but it is possible, if you protect a sprinter, that they can get to and compete at the end of the stage. And you're seeing a lot of teams have already formed up their sprint trains on this one, setting their guys up for it. For now, we're just continually protecting the individual, and we will, at the top here in a moment, go ahead and form up and try to get ourselves set. But as this is the only race in the active first 2 months of the year here that has a mostly sprint requirement, I brought my sprinters. Not that we have much of a sprint team, but I brought my sprinters, and I put them all on the objective. It's still too soon. We do not have a fitness peak for any rider. By now we should. Like, there should be 1 or 2 guys that are triggering, but they're still maybe a week away. So it's not happening yet. But with +2s across the board, except with 1 rider who already has other objectives elsewhere, that's why that +12 is what we have. We have a decent amount of green today. Matt de Villiers, the main guy though, only a +1 for him, so he drew a -1. His backup, his lead out man, also drew a -1 on the day. So where it counted, we didn't get a positive, but really not bad. It's functional. Let's see what we can do. So we're already inside 10K. Josh de Villiers was a little bit far back here. We've got most of the team over to the right, so let's go ahead and get them into that space. And de Villiers is going to push to get us out there. He's okay, flat rating, 69. It's not terrible. There's certainly far worse out there, but we're already inside 7K and still just pushing to get to the front. But it's not hurting the team, and that's the main key here, as Roteasir has a much better flat rating and has been able to make that push to get up with him. But we are now on to Roteasir, and you can see how hard these other teams are pushing. Just trying to get out front is so difficult. We're at 3.6. Let's get on to Kareem. 2.7K. You're going to sprint. Kareem can find space, but it's like Ansa is somehow behind de Villiers at this point. Switch it up. Ugh, Roteasir, get out of the way, man. Kareem's in the right place. Just Ansa lost his wheel, and we cannot get out where we need to be. And de Villiers was supposed to follow. He did. He is here. But 1.3 is not quite. He's already sprinting. He's just not a sprinter. Now it's the final K. It's just sprint all. But do we have a path forward? I'm going to say probably not. However, if I get you out of the way and give de Villiers some space. No. Just couldn't get out of the traffic. I had a couple guys I didn't need to have at the beginning. The kilometers were ticking by pretty quick on that. I had 2 guys too many in that train, but Ansa lost the wheel. Kareem came through at the right time with the right speed, got into the right position. Ansa just couldn't stay with him. And it wasn't a red bar situation, he just couldn't cut through the traffic. Stage 2 could be a much more difficult task than Stage 1 was. Not because the profile is that tough. It doesn't look that bad. Certainly tougher than Stage 1 was, and definitely tougher than Stage 3 will be. It's the hardest stage. But it's the level of competition. 2.1. It's not even a Conti Pro race. It's just a Continental level race. And yet, we're looking at 6 or more riders with an 80 or better mountain rating. 6. Lenny Martinez has an 83 mountain rating, and he's here. So we see him again. He's suddenly on a similar path to us, it looks like, this season. And like Mark Hershey in years past, it's Lenny Martinez that I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this year. Hardest climb of the day, though, is behind us, and everyone has survived that. We've got 82K to go overall. We are nearly to the halfway point, and I think Water might just about make it. Ansa is somebody I'd obviously want to lead out at the end, but he's got a -5 draw on the day that sees him looking really weak, and he's a really poor climber to begin with. So we're going to rule him out of the equation and focus on the rest of the team. Josh DeVilliers is our top puncher. So if it comes down to it, he'll ride away and do what he can. If we can, we protect Matt DeVilliers. We protect Kareem. We protect Carolus, who's kind of the overall best all-around climber. And so it's either down to Carolus and DeVilliers, Josh, or Kareem and DeVilliers, Matt. But into the final sequence of climbs, this next section won't be so bad. It's the final climb that's going to be the biggest concern, though. But how much will we have left in the tank by the time we reach that stage? We're going to get some recovery. It's about really hanging in there more than anything else. The drift is okay, as long as it's minor, until we really start seeing this peloton breaking up. So far, it's fully intact. So we got the first of kind of the triple or quadruple. This next one's uncategorized. And we're going to get this little bit of recovery here. It looks like Ansa's not going to last a whole lot longer. Already mentioned. Terrible climber and on domestique duties for the day. So, yeah, he's looking quite weak. Havogimana? He's a handful to say. Okay, we're over that one. Another short recovery period. A little more gentle, but should heart rate get low enough? Yeah, we're getting that recovery happening. Ansa hasn't even been dropped yet. In fact, the whole peloton is still together. 119. 4 left off the front, 213. Not a big gap. 6K to go. Tougher climb here, but short. Let's make an adjustment here. Not for Ansa, but for these guys. Let's push like an 84. Hold that position a little bit better. Better recovery time coming here. Yeah, Ansa at the very, very back. Already on auto. Going to be one of the first losing contact. We'll watch from back here for a second just to see how bad it gets. Definitely a handful of riders going. 2.5K to go. We are hanging in there. Havu is struggling. He might get dropped here momentarily. Roteasir, Josh DeVilliers, like the current domestique, struggled through that. But good recovery coming. We make it over the top with 6 riders. That's going to give us a real chance. But this next climb is going to be crazy tough with the level of the field. Kareem, Matt, Carolus, all looking good. Getting some recovery out of the others as well is certainly helping. 100 in the field. Okay. The climb will be coming fairly soon. Wait. Just give me a second. Let's see. 5.4K, 8%, max is 15. That is going to be problematic for us, but if you get over that, nope, can't quite get that out from behind the face cam. Relatively flat the rest of the way, slightly downhill a good chunk of the way, but it's getting over the top. And I think we did well here last year with our A team. This is not our A team. And we're set for a sprint. Boy, okay. And I said 5.8, was it? 5.4. So we're about 3K away from it. So let's go ahead and gel up for Havu, who is looking quite weak. We'll go about a K and then get Roteus here. There we go, that's 1K. And we'll wait a little bit longer here and get Josh. Okay, we are going to go in survival mode for this one. And by survival mode, I mean we have 5K to go. And we're already, let's see, what is your... You're better mountain, medium mountain than you are mountain, so we can push a little harder. Same for you. Push a little closer to that medium mountain rating, and you're just straight up not good. We gotta get you a little bit higher, get you towards that hills rating. 95 all the way. In fact, I think we need to just kind of get these guys into that medium mountain completely and away from that mountain rating. Yikes. You can do it, guys. You can do it. I have little faith in you. A little faith. Just a little bit. Bent a little on the attack. Okay, check in. 69 in the group. Havu's been dropped. Lots of riders going out the back. Lots of Jumbo Visma riders, sprinters getting dropped. Roteus here. Going to get dropped here in a moment. A lot of riders going out the back at the moment. It's all back together there. 65. But a lot of these guys, there you go. Big group losing contact. There's Arroya. These guys are all about to lose contact. And there goes De Villiers. Josh is out. We're down to 35 riders. 4 off the front. Carlos is hanging on. 36 chasing 2. Giving it their all. And it's not enough. These two get dropped. Now it's your turn to give it your all. 23 chasing 2. 22 chasing 2. Just about keeping contact. Gruel. Oh! Gruel loses contact. He sits up and Carolus misses it. How far back are they? Oh my goodness, they are a ways back. They're a minute and a half behind Carolus. I thought maybe if he was just a few seconds back, he could just wait for them, chase those guys down. No. Wow. That's totally rules us out of GC and totally rules us out of the stage. And it's going to come down to stage 3. Our B and C teams have found their struggles at times this season. Leknason takes the stage ahead of Roland and Noitz. A little bit unknown for those guys. Final kilometer. Carlos, 23rd. Kareem gets past De Villiers. Leaves him behind a little bit there at the end. 34th, 36th. We were close to possibly making that happen, especially if you restore the red bar over those last few kilometers. Carolus could have let out Kareem, could have let out De Villiers. Close. Didn't happen though. With a 2K climb at 10%, that's the kind of profile we can work with. Punchy profile that we can get out front at the base of that and burn through our guys to stay at the head of that group and have a chance at a stage win. This is over in Portugal, where we already blew it on stage 2. Stage 5, individual time trial 24K. I'm not even sure what I have for riders here, but I would imagine we're not among the favorites for that, but you never know. We've got at least one Rotes here. Is he at that race? No, he's at the other race, I believe. So we're probably looking at that being our last and best chance at getting a stage win for that. For the Tour de Var, the hard stage is behind us. The third stage definitely looks easier. Not an easy Cat 2 here at 5% or 5K, 8%. It's a little bit easier than what we faced at the end of the other one. But the big difference was the other one was like this. It was right before the end. This is, it's a short stage. Oh, it's only 109K. I might have to rethink my statement. Just over 30K from the finish line. Good descent to get some recovery on. Triple climb kind of leading up to it with a really short stage. Not easy. Still easier than the second stage profile. And this little climb at the end is very much one of those that if you're descending here and protected, if we still have some domestiques to protect some leaders, if we still have 4, 5, 6 guys by that point, this is no problem. If we're down to 1 or 2 guys, then okay, yes, it's a problem. But that can set up a sprint at the end. So our best chance at a stage win in both of the races will come in these final stages. But that we'll have to wait till next time. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.